I want to talk about my journey that has brought me to this place, not just to Fort Worth, Texas, but to XTO Energy and the job that I have with XTO Energy. I was born in Michigan in 1971. It's kind of a long time ago, coming up on 41 years. Bounced around a lot because my dad was involved in the military, but he was also involved in defense contracting. So that bounced us around. We moved, I lived all over the upper Midwest. I lived in Michigan, I lived in Illinois, I lived in Ohio, back to Michigan. Eventually found my way to General Dynamics here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I've been pretty much a Texas person ever since. My own personal journey, took me from, growing up in those environments. I went to 13 different schools in 4 different states. So I was a very shy kid, and that taught me a lot. Growing up in different environments, learning to adapt to different cultures. And learning to make friends and integrate myself with other people in different environments. That all, came around eventually to, mold me into the person that I am and led me to this place here. So I graduated from high school in Keller, Texas, Keller High School, 1989. And I wasn't the shy kid I was growing up so much anymore. I had matured and had learned to reach out to other people, learn to speak a little bit, made a lot of friends. I wasn't very popular, but I turned out, afterwards that I knew a lot of people. All the people in my class, it was interesting how many after high school remembered me and remembered me fondly. And that really had an impact on me because I didn't think that, as being the shy, quiet kid, that I really, was that memorable or, that people would remember me that well. So after high school, I got involved with girls, and that eventually led to my first child. And I was 19 years old when he was born, and that changed my life. I'd gone to school a little bit. I was going to DeVry University to learn electrical engineering. And I remember at some point after my son was a couple years old, we struggled. I tried to help her out. She went off and got married to somebody else, and but we still had a pretty decent relationship. But she had applied for some state help, to help her and her husband raise the kid, and I was helping with what I could. But they, as a requirement of that, she had to go and fill out paperwork for child support and stuff. So I was like, okay, hey, it's whatever. We'll just figure this thing out. Well, we talked to the child support person in this hearing, and she's like, looking up what I make, and then of course I'm going to 18 credit hours of school at DeVry, and I'm working in Richardson and living in Hearst, and my son's in Denton, so I was all over the place. Thank goodness gas was only 91 cents a gallon back then. But that, it meant I can only work, maybe 30 hours a week, and I wasn't making much. I was working at Budget Rent-A-Car at the time. The lady, when she was calculating what my child support was supposed to be, looked me up on a chart and had me calculate it 40 hours. And I was like, but I don't work 40 hours. I'm only working, maybe 30. Is there a place on the chart for 30? And there wasn't. It was just, there's this what you make per hour, and this is what you pay every month. And so she's like, well, honey, you got a kid now. You got to work. You got to work full time. You need to take care of the kid. And I'm like, well, I don't want to make $7 an hour for the rest of my life. I'm trying to go to school so that I can provide better for my kid. And she didn't care. She's like, well, if you don't like it, you can go talk to the judge, and the judge may not like it at all, may decide you pay twice this. So I accepted it, and sure enough, within some short period of time, I was no longer, I was on the dean's list. I was doing very well in school, and suddenly didn't have a job, didn't have a car, and got kicked out of my apartment because they immediately start taking the money out of your check. So my whole trajectory in life suddenly took a very different turn. I suddenly had to find a way just to work and pay this new obligation, but I also had to find a way to keep integrating my son's life and continue to find some way to build a future for myself and for my family, and as I could, in whatever way that I could. So I just started working and finding jobs. I eventually found my way into a staffing firm. The staffing firm told me, I went from assignment to assignment, did them as best as I could, just worked very hard. And they told me to go to this place called Nokaya. And I'd never heard of this company. I figured it was some Japanese company. I didn't care. So I went, showed up, said, I'm here to work in the warehouse. And they said, oh, you need to talk to this guy, Eric Jensen. So I met him, and he showed me around the warehouse, and I went to work at this Nokaya place. And,
so good.
I guess they make cell phones or something. And things went very well there. It turned out to be a very good culture. The people were awesome. It was a very good work environment. And of course, Nokia, as I eventually learned to pronounce it correctly, is a Finnish company, and they have a very strong family-oriented environment. So this became a very good place for me to kind of grow. This led, fortunately, to a lot of opportunities. I bounced around. I obviously worked my way out of the warehouse, moved into the engineering department where I had gone to school. I didn't have my degree because I wasn't able to finish, but they didn't care about that. They saw the potential in me and were willing to put me into these roles anyway. Well, as I started to do this, I realized, what, I don't want to do this. This sucks, being an engineer. So my friend, said, hey man, you're really good with computers. You should go work in the computer department. They got a help desk opening. So I took it, and lo and behold, I worked out really well in that environment. Eventually found my way into my real love, which was information security. And I stayed with Nokia for 11 years. Eventually got married, had more kids, and I've had a great relationship with my son. And through my career, I've managed to find my way to a great company that's also very family-oriented, X2 Energy. And that's my story, and that's how I've gotten here. So.
All right. Excellent.